Abshikechum. Abshikechum.
Chu, Uklasis Chachum Hai, Histakshit Ehatis Ulchish Lacholams. Hello and welcome. My name is Aaron Wells. My traditional given name is Chachum Hai, and I come from the Ehatis and Lacholams First Nations tribes of the Nuchanot and Tsimshian Nation. I am currently working here at the Royal BC Museum as a cultural programmer working in programs here in the Living Languages exhibition, and I'm currently going into my third year of Performing Arts College. What I hope that people get out of this exhibit is the celebration and diversity of the languages, that we are in fact still here. We're not gone, we're not extinct, we are still very much, I'm here, I'm talking to you right now. That's what this is about. It's a celebration of the languages, of the diversity of languages, and the fact that they are still living. The reason why it's called Our Living Languages is because we are in fact still here. There are still people speaking those languages, and we're not going anywhere.
Abshikechum.
I would love to use theater as a way of bringing my people together. I've realized that it is a way that I can bring healing to my community, because I've seen it done where people have gone through some dramatic moment and that has released something, and it's just a safe way of doing that, and that's what I would love to do. What it means is just the preservation of who we are is what this is, the preservation of who we are so that we can keep it for the younger generations. Because they're the ones that are going to, my generation and those after me are going to be the ones that bring the language back out of an endangered status into a thriving being of who we are as a people, as a culture, and as a language. I have found a connection to my elders, to my ancestors, and to my language and culture through my performing arts background, and one that I'm coming into. Just recently, I was at a workshop in Ontario for 2 weeks on Manitoulin Island, and I was with a bunch of other First Nations actors and directors and producers and those who have been creating works for First Nations peoples. And through that, I discovered something, a purpose for my voice, and that was that I have a voice. And I can't explain where it came from. There was just this epiphany that came through, that I have this voice to carry forward the voices of my ancestors, of my elders, and those who have gone through the colonialization and residential schools and the repression of the language, who haven't had a chance to speak and haven't had a chance to voice who they are because of the residential schools and other repressing effects that have come through the colonial era. And so I have been given this task of forwarding their voice of who they are and who I am through them. Part of some of the language revitalization strategies have been preserving it online, so you could have pocket access to the language, so you could be able to access it wherever you go. And so my mother and some of my other family have been instrumental to our specific language portal, the Nuchanot language portal, on the First Voices website. And it's a place where we have been able to document our language and our phrases and some of our stories and songs, to be able to have access to that wherever we might have access to Wi-Fi. I think one of the awesome things about having this online is that it's accessible anywhere, because one of the challenges that we face is having the internet and all of the social medias, Facebook, TV, movies, everything is all broadcast in one general dialect of English, which has started to homogenize different dialects of different languages. One of the important things about having language documented in the way that we have it here and through dictionaries and other programs is that, think of one example. There's a young man who didn't know his language at all. He grew up around the language, and there were no fluent speakers of that language anymore. But based on the archives that have been taken, the way that the language had been archived through either First Voices, the dictionaries that they had, songs that were recorded, and other things that have been archived, he was able to make himself fluent. in his language and in his culture, and there into his identity. Because language is so rooted to who you are as a person, as a community, and as a family. Language is important because it explains who we are as a people, as who we come from, our culture, our traditions, our way of life, our way of being, and how we can live off the land and off of each other. And that's what language is because it's so finely entwined to everything that we are as a people.
Ehatis. We are from Ehatis. Ehatis. We are from Ehatis.
Kleko, kleko. And thank you for coming on this journey with me through the Living Languages exhibition. And I hope that through this and through Curious that you can make a connection to who you are through your language, through your culture, and through your ancestry. Chew.
Chum.